This is the NBC webinar season 2. Let me give a very brief intro. NBC was founded as a WhatsApp group to share views and info on business and decided to disseminate knowledge of functional aspects of business like exports, management, funding, startups, etc. With the lockdown, we moved online and continued with our knowledge dissemination program. This is season 2, and we decided to be inspired by legends who achieved things which their peers could not even imagine. These achievements were not given on a platter. It needed hard work and persistence and the courage to face the adversities. Now, I am Narayanan, an equity analyst who started off as a sugar analyst and then moved on to pharma. We had with us Dr. Ganesh Pandian from Kyoto University, Japan on 23rd. Today, we are having one of the most coveted guests, Mr. Vivek Saraogi. Generally, we'll see him only on CNBC or Bloomberg Quint. Now he has been kind enough to be on NBC. He is the legendary son of a legendary mother, Padma Shri, Mrs. Meenakshi Saraogi. He stepped into the management at a very young age. His appetite for capacity building in sugar began with the acquisition of Babanan Sugar, a small 1,000 TCD plant. Now, Balrampur has a capacity of 76,500 TCD, making it the second largest sugar producer in the country. He is with us to explain his journey. Good evening, sir. We thank you for the kind acceptance of our invitation to discuss your illustrious journey from a single sugar mill to 76,500 TCD now. Let me start by asking, what was your age when you joined the business?
So I was barely 20 years when I came into business because in, a typically Calcutta Marwadi family, you passed out from college and you passed out from school and your college was early in the morning. So I began when I was actually 19. However, seriously got into business at the age of 21.
Okay. Did you have any difficulty in adjusting with the senior executives who were all senior to you by many years?
So, for me, life was a little different. My mother was staying at the factory and she had gone when I was a kid of 14 years and my sister was 7. So I was just seeing business all around me all the time because when I used to go to my mother in holidays, she was talking work. When she came to Calcutta during festival, my father, all executives are talking work. So I had a little mindset of acclimatization. So senior executives, I didn't have much of a problem because I kind of paved my way in very gradually.
Okay. So who was your inspiration and mentor in this business? And how did you become so passionate about sugar? You answered it, but a little more detail about how your mother or whoever mentored you,
So my inspiration was my mother, her tremendous hard work, her grit. So she was a college, she had done her education as a BA in Hindi Sahitya, Hindi language. And she just went to the factory and took over in 1980.
Okay.
With no formal education, just hard work, pure tenacity. She used to stay awake the night. If there was a breakdown, she used to go to the factory, sit there until the breakdown got over. So that's the kind of background and hard work I saw the moment I started seeing business. So that tenacity and that grit left a very, very deep impression on my mind.
Okay. And even now, your friends say that you are such a workaholic. Probably you picked it up from your mother.
I just enjoy it. It's a coincidence. There's no holic. I enjoy work.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's not a burden and I don't do it. I just love it. So I enjoy it.
Correct. You have become so passionate.
I don't see it that way. I see me discharging my duties. That's all.
Okay.
So another very important person who had a very deep impression in my mind was Mr. Suresh Nematia.
Okay.
So I saw him as my mentor. He was my guide. So he guided me on, how to do public relations, how to look at life, how to look at business. If you've heard of him, I think many would have. He was the chairman of Ambuja Cements, and is a very well-known person in our Marwadi circle as well as in Delhi and Bombay circles. A man with a rare sensitivity, rare understanding of life and business. I grew up under him, under his tutelage, I would say.
Okay. Okay.
And my inspiration to hard work was my mother.
Okay. When many sugar mills were struggling to remain afloat, what gave you the confidence and courage to acquire sugar companies? Some of them were sick, some of them were doing well.
So, as you know, our first business acquisition was Babnan. It was in the year 1990, and I was 24. My mother was at Balrampur factory. We had one factory, and that was at 3,500 TCD. Now we decided, and there was some people who influenced the decision. My father also said, you must buy one more plant. And we went ahead and bought this factory. It was a 1,800 TCD factory. We paid 15 lakhs for it. 15 lakhs all through.
Yeah.
So there were government dues. I was asked to meet the chief minister who had a negative lien of the factory because of cane dues. So I met him. I met with my father. I met the main secretary. They took a signed letter from me saying that when will you clear your dues? I asked for 1 year. So they said, we want it under your signature. Well, that left a very deep impression that I'm going to the chief minister and committing. I have to do what I'm saying. And from there began, mother used to look after the factory, and I was tasked by her to look after corporate office, banking, funds when required. She said, I will not wait 1 hour to pay the farmer, and I will not wait 1 hour to pay the supplier. So you better have the money before you take expenditure on any such thing. So we built goodwill with the institutions. I think we were lucky. God was kind. Babnan, we did a public issue at 10 rupees. The moment we did the issue, that Ayodhya incident happened. But within a year, the share sold at 150. And that's where the confidence began inside me as a human being. So people started trusting you. They started giving you money when you wanted. So that cast a very deep responsibility in my mind. And my mother's conduct at side and my uncle's inspiration. And even my father's giving me a free hand.
Okay. And I was one of those beneficiaries when I got the shares at 10 rupees. And I got merged with Balrampur eventually. And in 1992, that is why I came and met you.
It's your wisdom. That's not my anything. It's your wisdom.
Yeah. Okay. And there was an interesting thing that I saw. You took over units which were geographically close to your existing plants, except for a very few ones. Was there a specific reason for that?
So when we began this and we saw whatever, I was all of 24 when Babnan happened and we had to run around institutions, this, that. So we saw that the synergy of management, and that this was 1990, it's not 2020 now. Technology, etc., was not so vibrant. So we said, let us spread our resources in a very gradual manner. So if mother said, we thought if it's closed, she can go. She said, she was the head of operations, let's say.
Okay.
And we said, let us be managing the office of mother from one end. So there are various reasons, plus byproduct, easier to handle the byproduct, easier to synergize the byproduct. So these were very small considerations at that point of time, but it turned out to be a big boon in future.
Yeah, because I saw recent annual reports where you have even mapped the plants. And I could see that, because of the closeness, you are able to demonstrate that you can move one raw material to another factory, one finished product to another factory, which really became very synergistic when it came to ethanol, right?
Absolutely. And there was one more advantage at that point of time, I'm just recalling, that we had our goodwill in that area. Even though we were a small 3,500 ton player in one region, Balrampur's track record for cane price payment was unenviable. It was very good. So when Babnan was the first factory to go, it's all of 100 kilometers away. So the geographical area is not very far. So the farmer goodwill traveled very fast. So when we expanded from 1000 to 2500 TCD, we got cane in our very first year itself. So it was the fact that our goodwill could travel. Suppose we thought if we go to West UP, let's say, so who is this person? Why will he pay us on time, whether others are not paying us on time? Those kind of questions might have come up. But here, none of those questions came up. The goodwill of mother having paid cane price and the company having a reputation of paying cane price in time helped expansion getting cane in the first year itself.
Yeah.
So that was cash positive in year one.
Okay. The factors of cost for all sugar companies in UP is almost the same, except for the interest cost. How is it that you are the most profitable?
So, sir, basically, we look at a lot of small things done well. There's no brilliance, trust me. There's no brilliance, no great things we have done. We've done small things well, and we've just not done much wrong. So it's like Warren Buffett says, you don't make errors.
Okay.
So we look at risk profiling very seriously, and we look at debt payment immediately. So the fact that we are light on debt is because we don't take unnecessary debt. We pay off debt the moment we earn money. So A, because of that. B, our working was very, very, what should I say, focused. So whenever we did something, we ensured that we don't do 5 things at a go. And Balrampur till date doesn't have any subsidiaries. So we focused our cash in our business. So just by doing that, ensuring good farmer relations, good recoveries, good cost of funding, and make good quality sugar, integrate byproduct of, convert molasses into ethanol, convert bagasse into power. So you're just using the entire, sort of byproduct into converting into a different product rather than selling molasses and bagasse. So these things done correctly and done well is all what you needed. That's what we have seen in our journey till now.